this is where the song basically just goes fucking nuts. Truthfully, it's hard for me to even describe what all is going on here. It would take me fucking ages to describe everything. I'm gonna give it my best shot though, but yeah, this is extremely chaotic. Yeah, let's just start, and I'll do my best to kind of get you guys, some value out of this. So the first off, this section is based around the main riff. So we're generally following that F major, E minor, F major chord progression again. So that's why it has those elements. So remember before with the main riff, it was more fun and energetic. Now we're playing that main riff, but extending it out with these longer notes. So we're getting more of the, how I mentioned earlier, the dark and the ethereal and those like deeper emotions that this chord progression can offer. That's one of the reasons why this section, when it comes in, it has this like, specifically with that F major chord being the basis, it's a little uplifting, but there's like this raw, or it's uplifting, but there's this like ethereal nature. It's again because F major is like the Lydian mode of A minor, and that is one of the things that Lydian has, is this very ethereal sound to it. So yeah, listen, the way that it comes in it's like a spiritual revelation, Yeah. And it's just playing, again, it's playing a very messy, distorted version of that main riff. But yeah, so that's what's going on from like a foundational theory standpoint. It's just following the chord progression from the main riff and generally the main riff. The second thing to note, and this is just talking about the guitars in general, both because there's two guitar parts here, they are just fucking nuts. This is one of the most insane compositions I've ever seen on guitar. There's like, they go from being perfectly in sync or like in sync with each other, just playing harmonies, to just totally doing different things. There's like one section where at the same time, one of the guitars starts a triplet while the other guitar starts a 16th, some 16th notes. It's like, that makes no fucking sense. It's totally ridiculous. It's like right at the beginning of the section. I'll point it out. Right here. Or actually, no, is it faster than that? I think it's, hold on, let me get the tab. Let's get it right. We're going to get it right. Hold on. Sorry, bear with me. I just want to, this is a very cool. Yep. Okay. So it's actually like the down, down. It's that down. So yeah, one of the guitars goes dum, dum, and it plays 16th notes. And then one of the lead guitar goes down. And so it plays a triplet, which is just wacky. So yeah, it's like the first three notes, it immediately starts doing some weird rhythm shit. That right there, it's crazy. One guitar is doing 16ths, one guitar is doing triplets. It's just nuts. Also, the rhythm in the lead switches back and forth multiple times throughout this section. 1 second, one guitar is doing a rhythm section, and then it harmonizes, and then it goes and does a quick lead section. It's ridiculous. And then on top of all of that, you have all these crazy synths and production effects. Mr. RJ, how the fuck do you say his name? Passon, RJ Payson. He's all over this section. Pronunciation. Passon, RJ Passon. Cool. That's how you say his name. I'll say it right from now on. Yeah, so you get RJ Passon like all over this. I know I saw that there were some gripes about it, but honestly, I think it's really fucking cool what he did here. I think that this section is extremely interesting. Yeah, it's very cool. Like this insane controlled chaos. It's like overwhelming. Yeah, it's really cool. Let's see. Are there any little tidbits I can point out? Yeah, a little bit of harmony, some harmonies there. Then back to that. Yeah, that's a cool little production thing there. That guitar part isn't necessarily difficult. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's not too tough to play, but they've just produced it in a way that's very interesting and like gives it this crazy sound. Yeah. Quick pause. Those long notes too. It's so cool. Again, they're getting that effect, by the way. I mentioned this before, but they're getting that because they whammied, they turned their whammy pedal on and detuned the guitar, but they're playing these low notes, but on high strings and octave up, right? And so that's why they can get that really interesting bend, because you can't typically get a bend like that on a really low string, and it doesn't sound that. It doesn't have that like fluid sound that you're hearing here. So it's a very unique sound. I mean, honestly, it sounds like, I mentioned this before, it sounds like fucking laser beams. It's really cool. So now we get that. We go into the second section. So before we go into the second half of this big outro thing that they've done, I want to note that the first section, I think, has a bit more of an epic open feel. I think this is largely facilitated by the hi-hat on the drums. So the drums are playing a consistent hi-hat all throughout, which honestly I think is like the only thing that holds this section together, because otherwise it is just crazy. So yeah, just listen to that hi-hat, or it's not just hi-hat, other cymbals too. But yeah, it kind of keeps everything grooving. And then the drums cut out on the second section, on this next section, and then they quickly fade back in. Hi-hat comes back in, but then they fade out again. And then back with the hi-hat. So I'm making more of a point about the first section, why it feels just a little bit more open, not quite so insane as the second section. But yeah, now let's get into this next section. I'll let it play out. Yeah, okay, so this second section, like the first section is insane. This second section it ups the ante even more. This is mainly Scott doing a lot of fucking nutso shit. So yeah, this is Scott jamming here though. And then you can hear Tim's part very low volume. Dum, dum, dum. Yeah, dum, dum. That's Tim. Let me play it one more time. Listen, be really closely. It's very low in volume. Dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, but the main focus is on that lead guitar. And then when everything, so as the drums sweep back in, they do some more like laser beam shit. Well, actually, they do a nice little high harmony there, or like a high section. So Scott plays. Let me find that real quick. Yeah. And that's kind of what Scott plays, and then they go into this really cool like high melody immediately after. So really cool, and then some more laser beam shit. That little crazy, like, just there's so much going on here. It's fucking nuts. And then yeah, we get another little Scott jam here where he speeds it up just a tiny bit. You know, and you can hear those synths coming into it. Dun dun dun. And that's probably one of the coolest fucking sounds I've ever heard on a guitar. I'm not even sure if it's like 100% a guitar. It's definitely some RJ Payson bullshit, but like it sounds so cool. The laser beams there. Whatever the fuck that is. Yeah, and so they do the crazy laser beam, and I think it's really cool to note that quick, like those two quick chugs before the. So you go back to they go back to the main riff at the very end of this lick. That wow now, but listen to those two really heavy chugs there right at the tail end. They just feel like to me, those chugs specifically feel like climactic. Like, yeah, we just fucking did that shit. It's like such a like caveman way to end such an insane section. Very ballsy, super fucking cool, man. Yeah, they anyway, so that's I mean, obviously all throughout the section there's crazy synths and other shit happening. Let's see. The 808's coming in and out. Yeah, one thing I wanted to note too is Tim mentioned that they were looking into like spiritual frequencies and shit like that, like frequencies that'll change your, you know, body's vibes or whatever the fuck. I don't really buy into that shit, but I have to say that the way that they've like mixed this section, it's like I kind of see that, because there is so much like the dynamics between the really bassy, like having really bassy frequencies and then going into this mid-range and like cutting things out, bringing the drums back in, and like I can just feel like the frequencies are all over the place. It's mixed really, really well. It's like one of the most interesting mixes I've ever heard. I mean, like, and I guess we've made it kind of to the end of this section. You know, I talked about this, some of the production. I went through the guitars in, you know, generally speaking, and then the drums as well. This section is fantastic. I mean, it's fucking nuts, but it's fantastic. It totally delivers. You know, I mentioned how like, okay, the first half, pretty cool. Like we're doing cool stuff. This is like total chaos, technical, unbelievable technical proficiency, crazy composition. If it's any indication of what the album's like, I'm so excited for the album. It's gonna be so cool. But yeah, so let me, rather than me just glazing the fucking section, let's talk about it. So first off, this is an unbelievably unique composition. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a composition quite like it. It is such a weird, interesting take on the guitar and what it can do. The way that they have the two parts layering in and out, the way that they've kind of split it up and chopped it up, but then they still play it, you know, live. You can go and listen to the playthrough. They've done it in such a way that they can actually perform it live, as opposed to maybe like some of RJ Payson's stuff. You know, on top of that, the tone that they've used is extremely unique. I think beyond, you know, obviously they are turning, they're also turning the whammy pedal on and off in various sections. So they're like going down an octave, coming back to normal, you know, just at their discretion, right? That alone is going to give the guitars a very unique sound, but they also have given the tone, like they've got some effect or something on it. I want to say it's like an auto envelope or something. I've heard of that, but I've never used it myself. I'm wondering if that's what it is, but like basically the whole thing is just, that guitar tone is super unique, and the whole section is just incredibly unique. It's like super meaty, awesome fucking climax. I also think that it's like it works from a thematic standpoint. I mean, if this is supposed to be like the all-powerful might of Jesus, I mean, then holy shit, they portrayed it well. Like this is nuts. Yeah, it's a great climax to the song. It utilizes all the musical elements we had. You know, the chord progression and the general riffs that are being played are based on the main riff and that chord progression, but then they still incorporate that second riff, you know, dun 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 dun. They incorporate that in there too. So they basically have smashed together their two main musical components that they've had for the song, and then expanded on them in a way that is both thematically relevant and also musically and technically impressive as shit. So yeah, this is fucking killer. This whole section is just fucking killer. Great job to the guys. Great job. Yeah, My most anticipated album this year. This is gonna be so fucking cool. It's gonna be such a cool album. I hope. Cool. But we're not done with the song yet. So after all this insane shenanigans, we get those two huge chugs, two really meaty, ballsy fucking chugs, and then we go back to the main riff.